Hey everyone, I'm Anya Esma, and today I want to talk to you about how to read pip cards. A lot of people are afraid of reading tarot cards that only have numbers. And I forgot to put on my rings, so be right back. I'm also going to have examples, of course. I'm going to show you cards and read them for you. I'm also going to upload an example reading very soon, so look out for that. Pip cards. Cards with numbers that only have numbers. To be clear, what I mean is something like this or like this, where you really just have the symbols without any explanations, without any scenes. You know, in the Rider-Waite tarot, traditionally, the pip cards are illustrated with scenes of people, as you probably or most of you know, and this is not the case with pip decks. You only have the number, sometimes you have the symbol, and we want to go through today how you can read those cards and get significant effective messages from them, even though they are a little bit hard to read, honestly, because you can't quite tune into your intuition and just look at the scene that is going on. But I will show you how you can still use your intuition and not just your rational mind to do this. So here go the 3 ways, or my 3 tips, I would say, to reading them. The first way to read them that I personally don't think can stand on its own is to simply know the meanings of the cards. Obviously, if you know that the 7 of Pentacles is all about hard work, waiting for your results to show, and then the 7 of Pentacles comes up, then you may be a little bit drawn to just read it as you know it. You know, you see the 7, you see the Pentacle, and then your mind just goes to the traditional meaning. That's okay, but I don't like it for 2 reasons. First of all, it does not account for your intuition unless you're very tuned in and you're able to abstract that traditional meaning and go towards the direction that your mind is taking you. But you have to be very intuitive to kind of let that go and then just look at the card and blah. So yes, that is the first reason I don't like it, because we tend to rationalize the cards and tend to just tune into the very mind-centered, intelligence, knowledge-centered approach to tarot then. And the second reason I don't like it is because it does not account for the individuality of the deck and the individuality of the imagery that it shows. Because, you know, these pentacles could be in any order, but they are in this order. And that leads us to our second approach. So this is about looking for a pattern in the card. Without knowing the traditional meaning of the 7 of Pentacles, you can look at this card and use your intuition to draw a pattern that you feel is appropriate in that moment. So we can make that bridge between rational reading and intuitive reading. So what shapes do you see in there? What patterns do you see in there? And of course, this requires your mindset to be very, very open and creative and in the flow, which is not something that we can always be. So I think the third way is mostly how I read it, which is a merger of the first 2. You know the traditional meanings, generally. Maybe they don't pop in your mind right away, but you kind of know them. You kind of know what the numbers mean. I also have a video about numerology, by the way, in tarot. It's super old, so I honestly can't account for anything I say there. I should make a new one, but anyways. So you take all of that, the patterns that you see, and the traditional meaning, and you put it together. And let me tell you how I would read this specific 7 of Pentacles. So if you look at it, the pattern that I first see is the 3 up here, the 3 down here, and the 1 in the middle. if you know the traditional meaning of the Seven of Pentacles, as I said, it is about hard work, about being patient with results, about keeping on grinding until you finally get the results that you were hoping for and manifest what you were hoping for. And so if we apply it to this card, I see 2 times 3 pentacles and 1 pentacle. The 3 of Pentacles traditionally is about building something that is greater than the sum of its parts, about building something worthwhile as a team or as a single person, integrating all of your parts and all of your wishes. So if I see this one person, this is the I suppose, of the card for me, surrounded by 2 times 3 pentacles, I see 2 projects that you are engaged in and that draw your attention and that are nowhere near being finished, nowhere near having a satisfying result, but you are in the middle of it, you are in the process. And that's how I would read this specific 7 of Pentacles. If they were in a completely different shape, a completely different order, it would be different. So let me give you another example. This is a classic and a really easy one, the 4 of Pentacles. You know, there's a reason they are aligned to look like a table or a chair or something that is stable and has 4 legs. There is a reason that the person decided to not put them in a line or to put them in a line in the middle, you know, or put 3 at the top and 1 at the bottom. And that is how you read the 4 of Pentacles, basically. Stability, 4 points that come together to make a stable whole. This one I also love very much. The 9 of Pentacles. We have a similar situation here as the 7 of Pentacles. You have the 4 at the top and the 4 at the bottom. 4, as I just said, is all about stability. However, of course, the 4 of Pentacles always comes with a warning to not close yourself off to further growth and to kind of revel in the stability and to just be like, okay, that's it, I'm stable, I'm fine. And the 9 of Pentacles reflects this process because you have one person in the middle between the 4 of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles, you know, enjoying what they have reached, enjoying the stability that they have reached. In the Rider-Waite tarot, you have a person looking upon their garden, but the person also has a falcon that is wearing one of those fun hats that completely obscure their vision. So it is calling you to not forget to keep your overview of things, to keep looking ahead and to keep exploring and flying further. And that is the warning element of the 9 of Pentacles that is also contained in this card because we have this strong energy of 2 times 4 of Pentacles and then the person in the middle. 9 of Cups is also an easy one here. As you can see, everything is aligning, everything is in order. You don't have any insecurity, you don't have any guesswork. It is just completely stable and completely... You can just go and drink all of these and be happy, be merry. It's a card of great stability and enjoyment of life. And that is reflected in this card, I feel. So as you can see, it's not that the creator of this deck simply always put the cups and the pentacles and all of the symbols in the same order. They are in a different order for each of the cards, even if both of them are the 9 of Cups/Pentacles. Now, what do you do if it's a bit less traditional though? If you look at the card and the traditional meaning comes to you, but it doesn't really look like this. The 2 of Swords is very much about reflection, about drawing back, about erecting defense mechanisms in order to enable yourself to really think something through on your own. And it always comes with a warning element. Don't shut everything out. Keep an overview. Don't blind yourself. Kind of like the 9 of Pentacles. And with this 2 of Swords, you don't really have that. You know, if the swords were crossed, as they very often are in the traditional 2 of Swords, you'd have a clear case. It's a clear-cut case. But what I like about this 2 of Swords instead is that it makes a pathway. So just imagine if you have a spread and it goes a little bit like this. It creates a flow of energy. I hope you can see this. It creates a flow of energy from one to the other, from the Ace of Wands to the Ace of Cups, or the other way around, obviously. And I think we have to appreciate this card for what it is. We cannot project the traditional meaning onto the card because they are not crossed, they are not blocked off, they are a pathway. And this introduces a new element of directionality in a tarot spread, which can be quite useful and wonderful if you have this amalgamation of your rational mind, knowing the meanings, and your more intuitive mind or heart-centered reading method that tunes into what you really see and really perceives the cards as what they are, not what they should be. Let me know how you like to read pip cards, if any of these methods called to you, whether you learned anything. I love hearing about other people's methods of reading them because there's so many different pip cards too. If you look at the Wild Unknown deck, for example, that has completely different pip cards that have illustrations, but they are almost pip cards. And these ones are kind of like a harsh example. So I'd love to hear how you read them, how you like to approach them in a spread, so that we can get a nice exchange going and learn from each other. If you want to dwell in my domain a little longer, feel free to subscribe. Message me if you want a tarot reading from me, specifically on Instagram. It is easy to reach me. And I also have a Patreon in case you are more interested about finding yourself and finding your fire and finding your passion, because I create resources there that you can use in order to find your path to knowing yourself better and to finding your purpose, basically, in all sorts of directions. Mostly tarot spreads, general readings for you guys, and also other resources that you can get a hold on. I'll put a link below. It would mean a lot to me if you look at it, or if you just support me on there to support this YouTube channel. That's also awesome. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to say. Have the best of weeks, the best of days, and I will see you very soon.